Hey guys, Jonas here from Libertas Alternative Media. I am so sorry for the delay. I've been working on my music and, just taking a break off from YouTube. But what I got here for you now is something I've been thinking about for a good while, and so I decided to share it. Hear me through here, please. The ideas which I cannot verify or prove for myself are something I don't see as absolute truth, as believers of the globe does with gravity, curvature, satellites, ISS, NASA and the rest of the scientific deceptions they have hypnotized society into blindly believing. If I can't confirm it for myself, I cannot state it as a fact, but I will provide you with facts and I will show you proof of some things rather interesting. You stick around and you'll see. Continuing, I love to allow my brain to go through everything in my mind and look at it on a whole, taking everything into consideration. I've been spending the last 6 days on this video, not only with editing and searching for content, but with all these different possible explanations for these phenomena I'm about to show. I'm going with what I think is most logical here based upon ancient history, witness account, video recordings and reproducible experiments. What I've managed to reconstruct at home gives us visualized proof of what we see with our own eyes on these eclipses, as with seeing Nibiru on the sky. But since I don't possess God's wisdom, I will not be able to find the giving answers to the mechanisms behind what is happening in our sky. Taking that into account, regardless of what you may think of the ideas I have to what is causing eclipses, and the following statements you will hear from me, you do want to stay till the end, because what I will show you is highly fascinating and irrefutable proof that there is a reflecting sky ceiling above us. I think there are different orbs in different sizes, in different paths that creates the solar and maybe perhaps lunar eclipses too in some way. Only if the sun and the orb are in total or annual eclipse will the light bend around the orb, making it appear as a black hole, which make us not see the sun. The opposite of what will be illustrated further into the video, where something is blocking the light but still is visually detailed and partly lit up. It will make sense. It's from where the heliocentric model and ideas of black holes came, something we all naturally can relate to. This phenomenon of bending and distorting the light makes the lens flares and the activity of the sunlight to act all weird. Let's have a look at some incredible, amazing, stunning videos from that impossible channel, as well as other people's photos and videos too. And remember, as always, I will give you every link in the description box. First, let's take a look at what everybody saw at the eclipse. How the light is bending and twisting and acting very unnatural. Another moon, another orb, a celestial body from the 4th or 5th or 6th dimension, who knows. Once again, the light is crossing itself. It's totally weird. If something is passing in front of the sun, it would not do that unless it got mirrors on it, The sun would still emit its light naturally around the object. But it doesn't do that. It did not do that. right next to the sun where the cursor are at. This is a darkened line caused by the incredible strange phenomena of the bending of the light. It creates a darker spot right next to the sun. You will soon see what I mean. But still, that should not occur if something is just in front of the sun, between the sun and us. That should not occur. The sunlight should still all be going in a perfect 360-degree radius. It does not. So here the object in front of the sun is leaving slowly and steady. You see that line, that very thick circular line, and you see the very strange formation of the light, and you see that line. The light is going right over that darkened line, so it's not an anomaly due to the 360-degree camera recording. It's right there, right next to the sun. No matter how much the balloon spin around, the darkened part is still there. And you see that circular light, how it travels very, very, very strange. And this camera have just a slightly convex lens, so it's not due to the lens completely. It is the sun acting strange. The lesser arch is caused by the object. The much greater one is from the sun. And you see the sun is the bigger dot there, and the small one right in front of it is what's causing the eclipse. As presumed, something is there, noticed in the lens flare. And you see the arc, how strange it is. Amazing. This next clip is, wow, I'm so happy that he stood right in the perfect spot to see what is not a lens flare. That is right there, behind the sun. The moving part is the lens flare. It's the image twisted upside down, because now in this clip the solar eclipse is ending. It's going away from the sun now, the object. That is behind the sun. We are looking at the reflection in the firmament due to the sun's position in the focal point. So we see what appears to be something being inside the sun, or, engulfing the sun. Therefore, the Rahu explanations of him eating up the sun and then spewing it out. Because if it was an object in front of the sun and that is the reflection, well, the sun on the backside should obviously not be covered, but obviously it is. If you stick around, you will see the supporting evidence I will show you that this is the case. The incredible, amazing reality of our world. Here you should pay attention to the dot right next to the sun, in front of the sun. It's not the lens flare. You see a lens flare. It moves right over the clouds. That dot gets covered because it's the sun's reflection in the firmament due to the focal point. And if you pay very much attention, you also notice that it's moving closer to the sun, as it would be because it's going to the other side of the right side of the camera, so it will twist and get over to the left side of the sun. But they did not record that much, so we could not see that. But you will soon. You will soon. The sun is going away, and what happens? Ta-da! Something emerged in the sky. It's the sun's reflection due to the focal point, due to the position of the sun. Again, this is not Nibiru appearing and following the sun, because we see this year out and year in and year out. This is not new. Even the moon does this. All of a sudden, ta-da! This light up the entire neighborhood before it vanished out from the focal point due to the position of the observer or the camera and the position of the sun. You do not see these phenomena from everywhere, anytime. It has to be specific times and locations, you know. The blue light means it traveled a longer distance to us. And you see here that it jumped over to the other side of the sun because it's now on the right side of the camera. As in reality, you will soon see the sun and the moon within the focal point of the sky ceiling due to their positions and due to the observer's position. In this case, the sun goes more upwards towards the observer, as would happen if you were living or being in that path. And you see that the sun's reflection walks with the sun because it's still visible within the focal point. It would not go towards the sun because the sun is not going right across the screen. Let's have a look at concave mirrors, shall we? This one has so much depth to it that the background gets mirrored upside down and her hand gets magnified. In this case, it does not have that much of a depth to it, so the background is not twisted and the object looks tinier because it's now further away. And this photo is almost as with the first one. It's so much depth to it that everything gets twisted upside down. And his hand, you see how close he has it to the mirror? It doesn't magnify it too much, so much as with his head, because it's further away. Which would indicate that the sun sometimes closer to the firmament and sometimes further away, as it sometimes get magnified and sometimes get much more tinier, because she, just exactly as the sun and the moon, is inside the focal point, lighting up this whole neighborhood before vanishing. I will show you now the lens flare, that the lens flare is twisted upside down, or mirrored, I should say, from what is the right angle of it, the object, in this case the sun, and what is causing the eclipse. Pay attention. You see, you can still see what is causing the eclipse that I am making. We should then see the object naturally when it's a full-blown solar eclipse, but we don't. And now to the mirroring. Notice it's flipped the right angle, the right way, and I'm using flat mirrors, I'm aware of that, but you saw when the object is close to the mirror within the focal point, it will be the right way. It will act in the right way, just as my mirrors. And you see, when I go over to the right side of the camera, of the central of the camera, I will see the reflected part of the light source on the other side of it, of the opposite side of it. Boom! Just as we do in reality. We have a sky ceiling over us without a shadow of a doubt. The heavens declare the glory of God, and the firmament showeth his handiwork. Werner von Braun's tombstone, right in your face, telling you we cannot leave this place. And it's magnificent. Yeah, one more thing. On this flat plane, we see all the heavenly bodies differently depending on ours and theirs position in relation to each other and due to perspective, celestial perspective. It's like frog perspective. That means that everything way up above you will be showing most of its underside and be dipping downwards to the horizontal line we call horizon as it moves further away from you. If we were at the same altitude as the sun, we would see the other heavenly bodies in a more linear perspective, and all the things below us would seem to be dipping upwards as it goes further away from us. This perspective then also means that the orbs, the one that seem to be highest up among all of them, will be the one closer to you. The second orb below will be a bit further away from you, and so forth. They are lined up on the same altitude, but the perspective fools our minds, like an optical illusion, into thinking it's going downwards. Yes, I think the moon get hit by the sun and light up due to the position of the sun. Now I don't think the moon is one of these orbs, and I do not think it reflects the sunlight back to us, but I do however believe it emit light. But then again, the sun reflection in the dome lit up a whole neighborhood before it vanished out from the focal point, so who really knows, right? As I said, I cannot prove for myself how the sun and moon works or what they truly are. No one can. Because you can't deny that what you are seeing here in Marcus Stark's incredible video is shadows caused by the light coming from the sun. Look, when it's nighttime for us and we no longer see the sun, but we do see the moon, it's because if you were by the moon, you would see the sun. And if you would see the sun, it means the light coming from the sun is visible to you and hitting you straight on. I've observed the moon and sun very much, and at times the moon and the sun are both up at the same time. Depending on their both positions, we see the different phase of the moon. Here's where things get interesting. What you need to take into consideration when you see the moon half lit is that what you're looking at is the underside and some of the upcoming part due to the angle, due to frog perspective. Ladies and gentlemen, we are living within the firmament on a flat plane, which is our earth. Embrace this truth. God loves you. I love you. Thanks for watching. Remember to subscribe, like and comment. Peace and love. Libertas out.